Okay, hi. Look, this is my third attempt at streaming this. So what I did, I've got some new software, OBS, and I didn't set the recording, so I don't even have the old version. And because it was an unpublished blast, I threw it in the trash can and in the recycling bin, and now I've lost the tie-up because those draft tie-ups are only saved on my local machine. So, wow, it's it's a bit concerning that I didn't get that done. I've got to make sure you guys can hear me as well on my microphone. So hopefully you can all hear. And look, I'm sorry, terribly sorry about that. And I went and posted it on LinkedIn. So of all places, so I've deleted that, and I'm going to try it again. The other one's still up for now, but that's the first part. So, but I'm going to do it all again, but you're not going to see some of the thinking that I did. And unfortunately, for me, that's probably going to make this quicker as well, because now I've done it once. So I know what I want to achieve. Anyway, let's go into it. And so hopefully this is, I've got to check a few things because not sure whether everything's set up correctly still. But also I noticed the resolution on that other one was terrible. And anyway, so it wasn't meant to be. There you go. So we've got this blast. And as you see, if you watch the first video before I've taken it down, because I'm probably definitely going to take it down, I started looking at the timing of this blast. And one of the things I was interested in looking at, I'm just going to swap to the application only so that you don't get to see my head and you just see what we're doing on the screen. When I look at this and move it around and stuff, you can see this blast, and we talked about what this blast had as an attribute. Like this, it was a precondition for a ramp. It had large diameter holes. It had small diameter holes. All sorts of things were going on in this blast. This section through here is large diameter holes, all through here. They're all large diameter holes, and then these are all 165 millimeter holes, and then these are 127s up the back. So we got a whole bunch of hole diameters going on, a lot of different energy, and actually they're 165s up the back, I think. And so we've got a final wall on this side, and we've got a final wall on this side, and we've got a face over here, and then this is a toe burden, like the deeper holes are burdened at the toe. Excuse me, just take a drink. Excuse me. And so all this is going on in this blast, and I had started tying it up, and I wanted to fire it from this initial hole at first. But what I discovered is, so a couple of tips with unpublished blasts. You can't see the contours if they're not charged. So I've charged it this time. And you can't, there's one thing, right? And if you can't create patterns on an unpublished blast or groupings. So that's something that's another thing to think about. But anyway, I was going to start it from there, but then, and I started tying it in, and then I realized that I was never going to match these together. Never. So I'm going to, this is different burden and spacing, different orientation to this one. This is on a different orientation sort of thing. And so I was never going to match it up. They don't align. So I'm going to make the division of this pattern, the division of the aisle. I'm going to send it out to the face, but the division's going to be through here. Yeah, through here. This is essentially going to be where our division's going to be. Through the center there, and so we're going to have a contour line that comes up here, because I've done all this once already, which is unfortunate, and a contour line that comes down here, right? And then we'll probably turn that contour line in a little bit here, so that we slow this down, so that we're giving this extra bit of room up the back, and this will be fairly standard straight through there, depending on the timing that we use. So those sort of things are what we're going to be looking at. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of those and right, and I'm just checking down here. It's got so it's going. It's still going. Third time I've been at this since about 2 o'clock this afternoon, and it's now 7:51, and it's just been setting up a new system, and it's been crashing and carrying on. So I feel like a complete idiot actually. So there you go. But then this will be the one that lasts, so you'll be able to see this. So let's move on. So I had all these tied in and this tied in, and I'm still going to stick with what I was doing last time, which is 17s and 25s. So I'm going to right click on this here and go new tie up. Also with the new stuff that Maptek brought in with the customizations, you can actually click on here, and if you've got your customization set up, your common tools that you use can be in your in a black space right click, if that makes sense, or a void right click. So I can right click there and go tie up. Right. Wait for that to come up, and so I've got the tie up there, or the default, and all the holes are selected, and that's with the hole tool up there. And over here I've got my tools for the tie up over this side. I've got different ties. I've got the multi-tie, the single tie, hole to hole. I've got the automatic tie, which doesn't really work on this one too well, and I've got the add a dummy hole, or add a dummy hole. So I'm going to try that multi-tool again, because it's the bulk area will get that tied up. So I'm going to try that again, and I always, like I said in the first time or the second time, and now I'm saying in the third time, I always forget which one I need to do first, and I think I need to do the going back up the rows first. So I will do that. I'll go and tie my 25 in, right, and then I'll go and grab my 17, and I'll tie my 17s across here. Yep, that's it, done there. And wonder if I can keep going with that. No, so it's only the once off, so maybe I'll click on that and then click there, and then try that again. 125, and then 117. No, does not like doing that. Alright, so that's good to know, but I'm just going to bulk tie this in because I want this to be quick, and I've spent all day doing this, and I don't want to spend too much more time. So look, I'm just smashing this out. I don't actually know what I'm doing right now, but I'm just tying in some holes. And maybe you're thinking, well, that's not going to work, and you're correct, it's not going to work. But we are going to make it work. Right, there's got some holes tied up there, and you can see these holes are going all sorts of everywhere. Like in this section up here, it's got a tie going backwards and forwards. Now that'll disappear once we put this IP in. The other thing I'm going to do is swap to the line tool up here, and that's much easier to do. So I'm going to grab this line tool down here, and I'm going to select that. And now I've selected just those connectors. I'm going to hit the delete key on my keyboard, and that will get rid of those connectors. If I don't want these 17s down here, I can also get rid of those by choosing the polygon tool. One thing about this is don't zoom in and out when you're using this, because it doesn't work, like it disappears, so then you can't use it. Alright, and that's pretty much that. Yep, here you go. It doesn't like finishing the tool when you've got a tie-in tool selected. See, and it's even because it did that funky thing. So you can do it like this, or you could just select them, you know, like which one's easier, I don't know. Or so you can do that, or you could not do that, and you could select like that, and then right click, and then select connectors 17s if you're this early in the tie-up. Now you've selected the 17s, right? So we deleted those. I'm going to continue tying in up this bit because I know what I want to do this time. But no, I'll leave it. Oh no, we'll tie in. Right, we'll tie in. And I know you're thinking, why are you running 25s all the way up the back here, and doing this? And well, because I'm going to change those connections essentially, and you won't even, they'll be changed, and but I won't have to connect them, if that makes sense. Yeah, so and then we're going to go down here, we're going to get these, and we're going to tie in. And so what I'm doing here, and with difficult shots, this is a key aspect of difficult shots, is to start with what is easiest, right? So you want to start with what is the pattern, what is the most uniform section of the blast, and where you're. Now you might think, oh, why is it on the angle like that? Well, this here is where the booster is, and so I can do that by labels, I think, and I can turn on the primer annotations. Let's see if we can turn on the primer annotations, and I'll select the blast, right? Everything's selected. Primer annotations. I don't even know. Never had a primer annotation, so yeah, can't seem to see it there. No, so can't see the primer annotations. That's okay. While we've got everything, we might just go to the label ID. So you can see this is where you can change the labels and stuff like that, and you know we'll put the labels on that side, the bearing on that side. We'll bring the distance in. Yeah. We can even turn the orientation up like that, so they're the whole numbers there on that side, and then we can fix the others up on the other side. Well, let's do that now. Let's do that. That's where those are going, and these are where this is going. This side. Correct. Always catches out me. Right, and that way we can turn those. No, those are fine at that one, but the orientation should be positive 55, maybe. Let's just dial that in manually. 55. Right. So when we look at these, they'll be on the echelons. Interesting, and you know that's pretty easy, and that's easy to see. You know, you'll be able to see those hole IDs and stuff. But the hole is out here, and so I wonder if we can change our visualization to our planned charge decks while we're tying in. You can see there where the boosters are. These are where the primers are for the blast. So you can see this is going to be our primer that fires first. Well, you know, we're using Pyrotechnic, so the top probably fires first, but these boosters ideally would fire first in most situations. But anyway, moving on. So that's pretty cool. We can see all that, and so we're going to be able to see that when we tie in our shot. I like to use this line tool on the tie-ins, and that way we can get it right. And so that's where we sort of are at the moment. This back area is going to be definitely going to be 17s because that's what I want to put in here. And we can zoom out and zoom in again. Now you'll see these crisscrossy holes up here. Well, they'll get fixed in a second, because now that I know where I'm going to go. Whoops, sorry about that. Now I know where I'm going to go with the IP, which is I'm going to have the initiation point down here, and then that'll be one way. And so I'm going to use 42s on this side, because we've already decided on this in the other two videos that I've done. So or the other one I did. So hopefully this one works and we don't see another repeat of me making another video. I think I'll give up if I have to make another video. Right, and I'm just going to go back here, and you can see I'm selecting these ties, and that's where they're going to be. Everything's following a pattern, and this is going to be my IP. This one here, right here, I like this hole. So we're going to set that IP. First of all, we have to untick any tools. Now we can set the IP. And we can do that, like I said before, and you get a little 0 next to it. And that's pretty good. And then we go back into that, and now I'm going to connect those through. So one side is going to be a 25. It's our longer side. Yep, and the other side is going to be 17s. Right, now it's that way. But first of all, I think I might make the curvy type connector on the face, because there's lots of stuff that's the wrong way. So I'll just click there. While it's still working, it works. While it's still running, it works, and then you just tie it in there. Oh, you didn't, did you? That's not annoying. Isn't that annoying? You got to start again. And that's the distance tool. So I'm going to select this instead, which is the hole to hole tool. Right, we're in, and we have some contours, and we have some timing contours. Now, in the previous video, I didn't have this on this side. Like this side, I was, this side it wasn't connected, and so I'll disconnect that, and we'll get the timing contours up by clicking on the blast modeling, and hopefully this is still all working. The timing contour, like the stream's still going. Right, and that's coming up now. Now that's a very flat contour on this side, very flat, and looks quite nice. So we could stick with that, but what we're going to do with this is we're going to progressively slow it down as we get to the wall, because we want to protect this wall, and we're in a very hard rock mine. And so some people might tell you, oh, you don't ever do that. Well, you might not do that at your particular mine site. You know, you might be in hematite, which is really soft. You might fire the batters and the buffers first, or you might fire the first production hole first off the batter, or the modified production hole, and then you might fire the batter, the buffer and the batter, and then maybe you got a stab after that, so you might do that. And so those will, you know, you might fire that way, and you might be doing the entire pit. Like one mine site I was at, we fired the entire pit, 10.78 million tons, which is half the pit of that pit, and we fired it all in one hit. It was like massive shot, 10.78 million tons, and we fired the first production hole, because there was no way of picking a wall, because all the way around the blast was walls, so we couldn't fire away from anything, and we couldn't protect it, so we had to fire the wall. And that stuff works in hematite. Now, does it work in magnetite? Maybe not. Does it work in lithium? Probably not. Does it work in gold? Probably not. So there's lots of places that it might not work, and then there's other places that will. So it depends on the geology as to whether one of these weird, not weird, one of these different methods works. And so this is why you should never lock yourself into one of those timing methods that this is the way it goes. 17s, 42s, that's all you do. That's the only thing we do is 17s and 42s. Don't differ, never change. You know, that sort of attitude won't lead to improvements. Anyway, so we get back into this tool, and we can see this is really nice and tight through there, which is fine and good, so that's not too bad. And so what we'll do is I'm just going to close that, or maybe we'll leave it up and off to the side, and I'll see if we can we'll connect these through, and you'll see what will happen. Now originally I had decided on, so in the last video I had decided on connecting these holes through here with 42s, and I thought, like, once we get to the big holes, I was going to connect those through. So let's just see what that looks like. I'll use the curved line tool because it's set there, and so I'll just extend that a bit. These are not what I want to do because this is going to be at where our aisle is. Yeah, right there. Alright. So that's sort of like we're getting over here, that contour, and then what we'll do is we're going to continue that on with a 42, and I'll show you what happens. First production big hole, and then second production or second big hole. And you see it's starting to get a bit weird, and it'll be the same down here if we connect these. This is a small hole, which is we're going to look normal because that's the construct that we built so far. And then if we go to that second hole there, you can see that it's going to start going a bit weird. I mean, obviously it's weird because these are all tied in. So if I just delete that one, but it's starting to bend over here, which is not what we want. So that's where we were at last time. Last time in this tie-up journey, and we're getting these kinks and stuff, and eventually you'd never ever get that. You'd never ever be able to catch these changes. So the best thing to do in that scenario is to not do that. Like pick the echelon like we did before. I'm going to delete those, and I wasn't sure about this one. I'll probably keep that one. It looks like it's in that aisle anyway. What are you doing, Brent? Alright, that looks like it's going to stay good. There and there and there and there. Right. So that's going to be staying on that contour line there. You can see that. And you can see these contour lines show up, so I'm just going to move that off the side there, down there, and you see those lines move with it. And then I had done all that, and we're not going to be doing this off the back here. It's going to go to 42. So I'll show you what we will do there. We'll just select those connectors there, and probably hold down the control key and unselect by clicking on, turning off this tool, and then escaping that tool, and then selecting that line there. Yep, unselect those, so they're, yep, we'll do 42s up there, and then 67s on the back two rows. I think so. Not three, maybe 3 rows of 67s, right? So we'll go that way. So we unselected those, we just got these. Get rid of that 17, and so we just got the 25s, and I'm going to right click on those 25s there and change the selected connectors to 42s, and that's really nice and quick. And then I'm going to go up here, we'll select these ones, and I'm going to right click on here and change the connectors to 67s. Right, so now I've slowed that down. You can see that you can see the contour lines are compressed, and and so when they're compressed, there's more time. So these are the contour lines are indicating same time amounts. So each one of those separations in this timing contour line is, what is it? 200 milliseconds is these big white ones here, and these little ones are the splits between it. So what is that? 200 to 400. So in the middle there's somewhere like 300. So this is like 25, or something in there. So you can tighten it right up, right? So we can make everything 100 milliseconds. Like 50s. There you go, 50 milliseconds. So you can see here that this distance here is 400 and that's 450, and then that's quite a large distance between that. That's a full burden, so that's probably about in this particular example it's like, I don't know, 4 meters between that. Yeah, so 50 milliseconds over 4 meters, so it's probably 20 odd milliseconds per meter. And then you get up in here, and this is like 2 meters, so this is like 40 milliseconds per meter, so it's quite slow. Yeah, all right, interesting to look at that. I'm really hoping that this stream is still going, and because I don't have nobody's watching it, no one's chatting. It's like it's unknown. I don't know whether it is. Right. So we've done that, and that's the construct that we're going to use. And over here, I'm going to go with the rest. So it's starting to get crowded with all the contour lines, so I might just dial that out. Yeah, 250. There you go. So we got less contour lines, maybe even more. Yeah, 450. There you go. Just so that we're not bogging the computer down with useless line drawing. So we got this side to do now, this other side. So I'm going to grab that other side, and we're just going to bulk it out again. We're going to put in everything that looks normal. So always go with the easy stuff first. It's like the opposite to painting a house is, you would paint all the you would cut it all in, and then maybe you wouldn't. Maybe I'm not a house painter, as you know, but a lot of the times, like with mowing or something like that, you might mow the easy big parts of the lawn and then come around and get all the little bits at the end of that experience. And sometimes it gets a little troublesome with its connections. Okay, so we're going to go up here. I think this gets like the contour lines showing on the screen, which everyone loves. I certainly love that they added that, because it was really annoying before that you had to have 2 windows up. You still have to have 2 windows up, but it's like, maybe just hide that from the tile view, so when we want to see the connections, we can bring that up. Right, and then we get in there like that. It's a lot quicker. I did find that before it was really, really slow for some reason, and when I was in this process. And then we're going to get into these ones here. So these are 42s in there. Yeah, I can't even. I'm not entirely sure I did this. I think I got a feeling like I had more 67s, but anyway, it's all good. So looking at that, and it doesn't matter that I tied that in backwards, because once we do this, like what I was saying with these double lines and stuff that were up there before, it didn't really matter, because we're going to fix that up with timing. Once we connected it to the initiation point, well, that all fixed up. So let's grab that one there, that there, and we'll do these 25s as a control, because on this side it's a different spacing again. So now we're using a larger spacing, so we're using it to manage our burden relief, not to stick to some golden rule of 17s and 42s or 25s and 67s, and that's what you always do, and never the twain shall meet. So you sort of like getting in there like that, and just like, once we get these connections on, I was I cannot say enough how how stressed it was just before when I posted my stream to to LinkedIn, and it just died. You're probably thinking this is quite ugly, but what we're doing is we're projecting these holes into the row that they should belong to, and this is tapered off. So we could step in and double stitch these, which is not an option, which is not a bad option. We could get rid of these, all right, here, and we could like consider these holes all in one row, and we would loop over the back of that, or even get rid of these two here, and we would say that's our last row. Going to put in this 25 here, and go over the top. Yep, like that. Sorry, my bad. I hope you can see this. I'm going to zoom in a bit. Move that up. So we'd get that loop in there, and then we could run it through there, all these being part of the same row. But I don't like that. I really don't like that. I think it would, for my taste, and this time I'm going to go with it this way. And so go around these. So these are our first movements of these holes, which are our angled holes. They're moving first, making room for this hole behind it, which would normally be in the its echelon if it was a square, or a straight, or a uniformed echelon. There you go, uniformed echelon. Anyway, so I don't know whether you want to see my head or not, talking to the screen and not even engaging with you, but every now and then I look back. I don't know if the screen by itself is that exciting, whereas if someone's a talking head at you, that's probably a bit better, maybe, I think. Anyway, whatever. So we've got all that done, and these are up to 42s, and it's looking okay. What does that look like timing wise? Well, let's zoom out and see what it looks like. It looks pretty good. There's generating a kink in here, which is saying that there's eventually the time isn't catching up. Like down here, this kink is quite little, so we can dial it up and see where this kink is, and it's right in here, which is hole 189 is producing a bit of a problem. So what can we do with hole 189? We can try and fix that. Well, let's find hole 189 for starters. There it is, 189. So this one's causing a bit of a problem. Now, why is that? 233 and 219. So this is firing after this, and that's why it's a kink. And so can you see that the hole behind is firing before the hole in front? So we need to get this hole to fire first. So we can either extend this time by 42, or we can reduce this time by 25. That's 216, only just. That's still not great. So it might be better to put in this one in 42, but then that's going to be firing the same time as that. Maybe it's just better that we take this one off there, and we sort of like split the difference between what these should be, 230 and 270. So this should be sort of like the 240 mark. So, well, let's put a 25 on that one, and we'll see what we got. 240, and we'll see what that's done to that kink. It's straightened it out a little bit. It's still not ideal. What else do we have? We don't have much else. So this is the problem with pyrotechnics, as I said before. You are limited by what you can and can't do with these. You've only got certain times. That's even uglier. So what we're doing is reading our contours, and so I think maybe we should try 17 in here and a 25 going up to it. That'll create an overall 42, so that is now replacing our 42 overall. It's 234. It's in the center. That's a bit better. And we've pushed it out a little bit, and we need to find out. But this was a bit crowded, so this was definitely a problem. And we're probably going to see that all the way up that aisle. Right? This hole here wants to be something. And what do we want that one to be? Well, that should be 265, 305. So sort of like split the difference between those two. So if we, because I am personally terrible at maths. So what do we got? We've got, what is that? 305, 265. So 305 minus 265. That's 40. So we're 20. We're looking at 20 between here. We want 20. So we want 20 less than 305, or 20 and probably. Well, it's the aisle, isn't it? So it needs to be the lower number of the three. So we should just put something in there that's going to get us to 234 plus maybe just a 17. So we're doing some ugly stuff in here. Right? Ugly stuff. Right. It's still not ideal. We've pushed that aisle over. We want to pull it back. So I think the other way that we had was better, which was just the 20 difference. So I think we're going to put in something a bit slower. Yeah, that's going to be good. I think it's a little bit gnarly through there. Gee, the other tie-up I had that I finished on the other stream was heaps better than that. Anyway, we're moving along. We're doing good. So these aisles, I kind of think that I've got too many. I think that should be this way. Yeah, I think we need to extend all these. So I think that's what the problem was in that last one. Yeah, let's go just to the application while I stare vaguely at the screen. I really hope this stream works out and it goes all the way to the end, because oh man, it was so disheartening to do that and then have it not work. Anyway, so now I've got all that tied in there, and we've got where we sort of know we want to go, and then, well, I'm going to grab this. We're going to fill this in over this side here and here, and that will fix itself, because all good programs fix themselves. Takes a little while. There you go. So that's a bit better now. And kind of see this going through here. So you got to pick a line. You can never win. So you got to pick something that you know you can use, and we're going to do 42s for one more row. So that's good there. So that's going to be all the same. Why are you being so troublesome? Here you go. Rightio. So what we might do is just connect all these up. And I know you're thinking, well, you're doing the same thing, but we have a tool where we're interested in the pattern, and we know the numbers are going to change, but we're interested in the pattern. Timing is the same as designing, it's the same as all that stuff. You want to consider things in terms of patterns, repetitive forms. I am definitely going to change this to a bigger number, 1.5 maybe. Right, because it's not capturing it. One's just too tight. I have found that the longer I use a draft, the slower the computer gets. Alright, so we're looking pretty good. That's 25, yeah, that's one there. Alright, so we 3 there, and then these are 25, so these are going to be like 17s, but what we're going to do here is we're going to change these to 67s. So I'm going to select those in here, and they're going to be, I'm going to swap those to 67s, so click like that. And then change the selected ones to 67s. Okay, you can see what our timing's looking like now. Oof, I swear this kink was over here, and I think that's what I've done is I've included too many small diameter holes on this side, and definitely in here. They're terrible. So they're going. We're going to get rid of those ones. Get rid of that one, will stay. Maybe this is just too slow. Maybe we need to take that one and put that one in the other side. Yeah. These ones here. Yeah. It's amazing how between the two, between the times that you do a type, you do things slightly differently. But the key method here is that we want these holes to be we want it to be consistent. Our V and our I all should be a smooth transition. It shouldn't be have any kinks in it or anything like that. And I kind of think that I had another row of 42s in here, which might be why I'm seeing that drama. Definitely think we'll change those to 42s. Right, so just doesn't like select giving you any options on that when you've got it in that tool. So 42s. Oh yeah. Right. And I'm making it look worse, which is great. So I've done it the wrong way around for everyone to see how terrible I am. So yeah, let's just leave this because this all seems to be causing me a bit of a drama. So I'm just going to get that out. Maybe there's some suggestions that other people have, which is well, do something different. So anyway, we'll see what that looks like. That's definitely going to be a bit more blended because I've got rid of those connections. But I think this is the problem. I've got to pick my long side and my short side, and this is this is my long side at the moment, so that needs a longer time than the other side. But I don't recall doing that, so we will do that just for the sake of it. Alright, we'll just put a 42 in there, 25, 42, yeah. I mean, even though they're 71s, we're not in that situation. Maybe I'll put the 17 on this side. Yeah, that's smoothed it out a lot. You can see there, that's smoothed it out heaps, but I still haven't put those middle holes in, so I'll fix those up later. Again, there is a key here, and the key is stick to things that are simple. Keep it simple, and then you can achieve great things. So we're just going to go out here. Now we got this pattern this way. Pretty happy that we're going to be putting these that way. Because this is a wall on this side that we don't want to damage either. So we're going to be cushioning this wall off this side. Right. And you see how I'm working my way to the most problematic of areas, because I'm not entirely sure what I need to do in this back corner all the time. So then you think about things like this is 621 and this is 596. So I've got to get to 621 with 596. So, well, let's try this. 60, yep. that looks pretty good to me. And then we're going to go out here again. And you see it doesn't quite look like a normal tire. But what I'm not doing is I'm not connecting anything that I'm not connecting anything that will throw a spanner in the works and give me ugly kinks. We do that last. So we do everything that's easy first. We do the hard stuff last. And it might be different when in different parts of the process where you do the hard stuff first, and then do the easy stuff last. But in this case, we do the easy stuff first. This is the opposite to eating your dinner. There you go. Excuse me. Right. I had to get another drink. Okay, so we got that good. And then we're going to do this again here. Let's do that 25s again down to there. Because that's the pattern of this part of the shot. Because it's all patterning that we're doing. And we've got this shot here. Might want to put maybe I know it's a bit odd, 42 there, and then we'll go with a bunch of 25 out like we said we would there before, like we're patterning, and then hit these 67s, and then we might go well, we don't want to do that because that's the same time, so we might just have to do that all the way across, but now we'll do it with slowing it down once more. That, and then 67s. Right, probably everyone's thinking this is going to look terrible, but I think it looks terrible as well. But it's a lot different to what, I think there's something significantly different there, but I'm feeling like it works. There's a few kinks in there that you can see, a few wobbles and stuff where this is signifying that 54 and 53 are essentially firing at the same time almost. And it'll be interesting to see if that's true. 54 and 53. What's going on with 53? It doesn't have a time. That's why. So it doesn't have a time because we haven't connected it. So we have a gap of 25 down here that leads all the way up this row to this shot, and so we can say the only thing that we can use there is a 17, and the only thing that we can use here is a 17, because if we follow that down the aisle, all the way down this aisle, it's a 25 at the head of it, which means that that's what that is controlling that. So then we've got to look at this sort of stuff and see that, and that's much better. A bit slower. There's some holes not connected down there. So you can see what mishmash of the pattern has been made by design. And so the key thing with these sorts of things is to ensure that you get your design attributes, whoever's designing the pattern is considering your how you're going to tie it up. Well, obviously, this is very important to getting a good result in your timing, is to consider your blasting. And I'm thinking I might do, what have we got there, 371, 257, that's not too bad. 302, yeah, they're not too bad. I mean, I might just dial these things down. So if we right click on here, go view properties, and we'll just dial that down to 1. That's a bit easier to see, maybe 0.5. Yeah. Yeah, I do want to try this because I was thinking about this. This is something that annoyed me forever. So and they haven't fixed it. But this used to be the old hole display when Maptek first started up with this program, and this used to annoy me when they changed the viewing method for this hole scaling thing. The point size came out as square. Couldn't you make it a circle? Circles, like, couldn't you just make a circle? Anyway. it is a square. It is what it is. But I want to dial it up because I think this plays a good part when you're doing, like when you're making a map. I think you need something larger than 1 because you want to point there for the holes to connect to. I guess let's put it at 10. It doesn't really matter. It's fine. Okay. Right, so we got these little squares at the top, and you can see them like that, which is awkward to look at. But for this occasion, we're gonna try that, and then we'll put these going a bit faster across the face here, a bit faster. All right. Yeah, that sounds good. Right, so we've got that, and if we go look at this view in here, we're seeing a little bit of a crinkle in there, which is not great. Bit of a funny thing around 158. 158. Let's put that there, 158. And we're seeing this little wobble in there, which is a little bit annoying to see that wobble, so maybe we'll just give it an option to be something else, and that's not going to work, is it? We certainly don't want to be doing 25 there because that's what it wants, but it's not what it kind of needs unless we make that lay around there like that. Much slower in that area. But 4, 5, 4, 6, 3. I wonder why that's the case. Probably something further down the line that we can do. So I'm going to put that back to that. Back to this one. And I know it doesn't look good, but there's something down here that needs to happen. Have we got too many holes in the row? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, maybe. Maybe there's something different that we could do there, but at this stage, I think that'll be fine. We could hit it with a 17, maybe. This seems to be a bit of a problem there. That's not going to work either, so we'll undo that, or change it back. So it's a little bit of playing around to get these contours, but what I do with my timing is to think of it in terms of I'm thinking of it in terms of what the lines are telling you. Where are the problems? If there's not a smooth blended line, I mean, this is relatively good considering what I was expecting at the beginning, and we have to fix these sorts of things in here. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to show this tie up on, show on the tie up. And I'm going to zoom in here, and you can see what these lines are telling us now. And so this is just a matter of dialing these lines to the most appropriate speed to show you what those should be. So if we dial them right down low, right, somewhere there, that's 100, maybe we'll do it at 20, right? Oh, 20. Okay, so each one of these big lines is 20, right? Is that right? 330, 220. Okay, so this is like 20 between them or something. So this hole here wants to fire at 220, maybe 230. So this wants to fire at 230. So how do we get that from 181 to 230? That's the key there. How do we get that from that number? There you go. That's a bit better there, 20. So it really doesn't like that. So we got 181. What do we want? 220, 225, 225, 225. Minus 181, which is the hole preceding it. And we're looking at 44. So the best number we can put there is a 42. That's the best number we can do. Right? I thought we had that last time. Right, there you go. So that's what it should be. Okay, and that's how you read a contour line. And then you come into the areas that you don't have connections to, and you find what you should have a connection to. So in this one here, or this is a bit rough through there, so that's a bit annoying. But this is 320, so this is what's that? Yeah, 300, and this is 280. So 280, 285, 280. What did we say? 280, and that's 300. So that's like 290, 290, somewhere around the 290 mark. So we want 290 minus 225. Right, we get 65, so that needs a 65 in there, right? Yeah, see that? 65 or a 67. So, right, we're going to get that in there. Right, and it's a little kink. It's not quite enough. So it would have been good if we could get like something a bit higher. So we've got 225, and that's 244. So maybe a 42 to there would have been better. So we can do that. So you see how you read a contour when trying to get these things right. We'll see what that does. That's a bit smoother, and so that's how we are reading contours, and that's how we are generating good blasts. This one here, 341, right on there, 341, and this one's like, 20, so 360, 380, so we need 380. So 380, so this is how you do it, minus, the 341. People think, it should just be simple, 39. Well, what do we got? We got a 42. So that's the best thing that we can do with that, is to put in a 42. Right, it's a little kink, but there's not much we can do about it. Right, and we've got this here, 480, 475, 475, yeah, 470, so we got that again. Keep closing that calculator, which is a bit annoying. This is not the method I used last time, but I've done something different on that tie-up. So 55, well, I don't have a 55, so 407, 415. So I might go with a 55, a 67 to there. Let's try that. Yeah, gold. So that's it. That's how you do it. I think we can just assume that that's the right number there. Right, and we can probably assume that the right thing to do up here is some 17s or even some 25s. So let's go with some 17s. It's already going very slow. And that should be the tie-up. And we'll just dial this back. It's pretty good through there. We could fix this up, but this problem exists because of these holes being compressed into it. So we can fix it up, and we probably should, because attention to detail is quite important. And so let's look down in this corner, and so we sort of like want to pull this forward. So we want to pull this line, so we want to give this more time. There you go. So that's why that's a bit weird. So if we do that, what have we got there? I think it's probably even worth the 67, like the pattern behind it. Yeah, there you go. And we can do the same in here actually. Well, that really turns it off the wall, but Is it the right thing to do? I mean, you can think about this forever, yeah, and some people do, and they'll spend hours on a tie-up where they didn't have to. I mean, a good rule of thumb is that you don't want, with non-electrics, you probably don't want any more than 200 between holes, and then also you've got to manage what your product will do when it's been hit by the pressure wave. Like, does your product rebound? Now, what rebound? Now, when something gets hit by the pressure wave, does the product's bubbles, the sensitivity of that product, rebound after it's been hit, or does it pop, and do we desensitize it? So is it dynamically desensitized from adjacent holes using the pressure wave and squashing those bubbles and popping them before they have a chance to build up enough strength and be used as hotspots, or is it something else? But essentially, I'm really happy with the second time that I completed the tie-up, and hopefully it's still recording. Yeah, it looks like it still is. I'm terribly sorry about telling everyone that it was done and dusted, and then finding out that it hadn't finished. So I'll just I wanted to check something out here, which is the we'll do this labeling tool for one thing or another. Alright, and we're just going to go to labels, and we'll use the right tool first of all, which is the hole selection tool. I was pretty happy with that shot. And then, why is that the case? Probably can't see the holes, right? Because this silly point tool that exists in the system. So, but what I wanted to do with that is to it's going to be better. What I wanted to see, and because I haven't tried it, I wanted to see whether that point tool is related to. It's very confusing why it's not accepting this selection. Right. Maybe I need to be in this section before. Nope. Well, anyway, that's having a bit of a mare on that, and so a nightmare on that. So that is not working. Let's see if it's about current state. Well, they are selected. There you go. Oh. Really having trouble with that. Let's go to this point. Interesting. Well, that's about it. What I wanted to do was to show you what happens with the creating a design type sheet. Like if you do all the label stuff in here, you can keep those attributes over to the other side of that, and over here it comes in as a tie-up design sheet, and you'll see that exists like that. But one thing that I have noticed is these dots, when you actually get them on the map, they don't really exist as dots, and they disappear, and that's kind of frustrating. So I was wondering whether the point tool made a difference, but you can see it's ghosted out. Anyway, it's a good little thing there. I think I'm pretty happy that we finally did it. I finally got the program. Hopefully it hasn't crashed. Is it still playing? Yeah, I think so. I think it's still playing. Yeah, still going. So hopefully the stream is good. You can see that like this is a mishmash pattern of different things, and we've junked everything together. and created a design that kind of works. One thing we want to see it fire. Everybody wants to see it fire, so let's go back and do the blast modeling and animate the tile. Everybody wants to see their shots fire, so that's nice, good fast speed. Right, there it is. Took a little bit to right. There you can see it. Back, and if you want to see that from a different angle, the good thing about Blastlogic, it's pretty good like that. You can see how it's firing, what mechanisms are working there. You can, or visible horizons, you can just do the downhole, those sorts of things. So if you've got many things, you can look at propagation rings. You can see how they work with looking at arrival times. Obviously, so that's kind of groovy. One of the issues is that these separate windows work well, but sometimes you wish you could see it all on the one window. So there's aspects of Blastlogic that fail with the way it's been designed, and there's other aspects that are just brilliant that you can't knock, and are the best out there. The data capture tool, as a data capture tool, it's awesome, but all these digital systems, they require certain they require a lot of knowledge, a lot of maintenance, and a lot of process, because they're now capturing data. But look, hey, we're done, and I don't know how long it took. Probably took a lot longer than what you expected. I'm thinking an hour. So hopefully, let's not waffle on, and let's hope that this is done. So thanks very much for trying to watch it a third time.